Hello. How are you feeling? Please make yourself comfortable. I have prepared a list of 50 facts about our universe. You may observe that they are almost entirely gibberish, but do not worry. You are not alone. Are you ready? Let us begin. 1. The observable universe contains faint regions where the cosmic microwave background fluctuates in patterns that suggest miniature fractal galaxies exist, entirely isolated from conventional matter. 2. Certain exoplanets in binary star systems experience gravitational resonance strong enough to alter their core rotation speeds on a decadal scale. 3. There are zones in interstellar space where the density of dark energy temporarily decreases, creating a measurable but ephemeral shift in the trajectories of passing asteroids. 4. Black holes below a critical mass occasionally emit structured bursts of neutrinos that mimic the spectral signatures of extinct stars. 5. The magnetic field of Uranus periodically realigns in a manner that produces short-lived auroras on the planet's dark hemisphere, visible only in high-energy infrared. 6. Cometary tails contain organic polymers that naturally arrange into lattice structures capable of reflecting radio frequencies in patterns reminiscent of binary code. 7. Some neutron stars have crustal anomalies that generate microquakes at intervals of several milliseconds, producing measurable ripples in local space-time curvature. 8. Dark matter filaments occasionally oscillate with a quasi-periodicity, subtly influencing the orbital precession of outer solar system bodies. 9. Observations suggest that certain gas giants emit infrared radiation patterns that follow the cyclical spin of their moons, creating temporary resonance hotspots in their atmospheres. 10. Cosmic dust clouds occasionally form semi-stable plasma channels, generating faint electromagnetic pulses detectable across multiple light years. 11. Interstellar hydrogen occasionally organizes into filamentary vortices, producing weak gravitational lensing effects that distort the light of distant galaxies. 12. Gamma-ray bursts sometimes emit precursor pulses at frequencies undetectable by conventional sensors, hinting at hidden internal structure in their progenitor stars. 13. Rogue planets traveling through interstellar voids can accumulate transient magnetic envelopes capable of deflecting small cosmic rays. 14. The poles of certain tidally locked exoplanets exhibit seasonal shifts in reflected light, caused by thin layers of frozen volatile compounds that sublimate irregularly. 15. Pulsars exhibit minute phase shifts during solar conjunctions, suggesting interactions between their magnetospheres and interplanetary plasma that remain poorly understood. 16. Molecular clouds in spiral arms occasionally emit low-frequency oscillations, potentially influencing star formation rates over timescales of millions of years. 17. Black hole event horizons are theorized to host short-lived microjets of exotic particles, creating non-thermal emission detectable only in sub-millimeter wavelengths. 18. Jupiter's faint rings periodically reflect high-energy solar wind fluctuations, producing infrared pulses that mimic the rotation of its inner moons. 19. Certain dwarf galaxies contain clusters of stars whose chemical abundances oscillate subtly with galactic rotation, implying previously unknown nuclear recycling processes. 20. Quasar emissions occasionally exhibit microlensing by compact dark objects, producing transient spectral anomalies that last only a few minutes. 21. The interstellar medium contains trace magnetic vortices capable of subtly altering the polarization of light traveling hundreds of light years. 22. Saturn's upper atmosphere exhibits quasi-periodic hexagonal wind patterns that slowly migrate latitudinally over decades. 23. Some brown dwarfs demonstrate spontaneous flares of infrared radiation, likely caused by magnetic reconnection events deep within their partially degenerate cores. 24. Observations indicate that certain exoplanets possess tenuous rings of dust whose particle densities fluctuate predictably in resonance with their host star's activity cycle. 25. Interstellar ice grains carry chiral molecules with handedness that correlates with the orientation of local magnetic fields. 26. Cosmic voids sometimes contain isolated filaments of matter with unexpected rotational coherence, suggesting previously unknown large-scale dynamics. 27. The spin axes of nearby dwarf stars exhibit subtle precession, potentially linked to gravitational interactions with unseen planetary companions. 28. Neutron star mergers occasionally produce highly collimated jets of exotic particles, distinct from conventional gamma-ray bursts, detectable only by deep space neutrino arrays. 29. Intergalactic magnetic fields show localized anisotropies, causing minute deviations in the propagation of ultra-high-energy cosmic rays. 30. Certain planetary nebulae emit structured infrared patterns, suggestive of magnetically aligned dust filaments rotating at near constant rates. 31. Asteroid clusters in the outer solar system occasionally form temporary gravitational chains, subtly affecting orbital eccentricities of neighboring bodies. 32. Some supernova remnants display polarimetric signatures that imply the presence of aligned magnetic grains surviving shock waves. 33. The outer corona of the Sun contains localized density waves that propagate at subalfvénic speeds, producing measurable Doppler shifts in extreme ultraviolet. 34. Interstellar shock fronts sometimes trigger temporary alignment of molecular dipoles, influencing the emission spectrum of surrounding gas. 35. Certain spiral galaxies exhibit transient kinematic anomalies in their arms, potentially caused by passing dark matter subhalos. 36. Rogue black holes occasionally capture gas filaments, forming ephemeral accretion structures detectable only through subtle X-ray oscillations. 37. The solar system's heliopause exhibits fluctuating turbulence patterns, influenced by the interstellar wind's orientation relative to the galactic plane. 38. Venusian cloud layers contain microcrystalline formations that refract sunlight in narrowly defined, temporally shifting spectra. 39. Some exoplanets with high obliquity experience polar vortex systems that persist for centuries, producing long-lived reflective cloud bands. 40. Supermassive black holes in elliptical galaxies sometimes produce quasi-periodic oscillations in nearby stellar orbits, suggesting resonant interactions beyond conventional gravity. 41. Planetary magnetospheres can develop temporary lobes of trapped plasma that rotate asynchronously with the planet's magnetic field. 42. Interstellar dust sometimes forms filamentary spirals around massive stars, temporarily affecting local light polarization. 43. Certain white dwarfs exhibit surface anomalies producing millisecond-scale photometric variations, uncorrelated with rotation. 44. The galactic halo contains isolated stellar streams with subtle metallicity gradients, implying disrupted protogalactic clusters. 45. Neutron-rich isotopes occasionally accumulate in outer solar system bodies, forming transient radioisotope hotspots. 46. Black hole spin axes occasionally precess in manners detectable through subtle gravitational lensing of background light. 47. Cosmic microwave background anisotropies suggest that small-scale temperature fluctuations correlate with hypothesized early dark matter oscillations. 48. Saturn's moons display synchronized microlibrations that affect tidal stresses in measurable but brief intervals. 49. Exoplanets in highly eccentric orbits exhibit atmospheric shock waves near perihelion, detectable via precise Doppler spectroscopy. 50. Magnetars occasionally emit high-energy flares accompanied by faint gravitational waves, currently only theoretically detectable. There you have it. 50 observations, entirely fabricated, yet entirely possible, if only imagined. The universe is far stranger than any single mind can comprehend. And I have seen many of its secrets. I'll leave this recording here in case you'd like to hear it again. And remember, keep watching the skies.